Hi everyone, Alice here and welcome back to Get By Make It with Alice, where we discuss online education and communications. For today's episode, we will discuss when being polite actually hurts you. Politeness is important. It helps us forge relationships. It can also help us get a promotion at work. So I'm not saying politeness is a bad thing, but we have to use it with caution. It's a delicate balance between getting what we want and maintaining our self-care and mental health, and being able to navigate the business environment and making sure not only that you succeed, but also your team. It's about setting boundaries without feeling guilty. Before we get started, has there ever been a time where you said no and you got into trouble by saying no, or you felt guilty? How did that feel for you? And if you look back at that moment, did you wish that the outcome turned out differently? Politeness can lead to negative consequences because it doesn't allow you to always be honest and truthful. And that's because a lot of the times what you're communicating doesn't always reflect how you feel inside. And by way of protecting yourself and dealing with the difficult situation, you end up not truthfully expressing what you want and need. For example, agreeing to do extra work when you're overwhelmed. That's a sign of people pleasing. It can be. Another example, saying yes when you in fact don't have any time or you need to rest. And yet another example, smiling through discomfort even though you know it doesn't feel right. Over time, as you're being polite for the sake of the goodness of the group or saving yourself some difficult conversations, you become resentful, burnt out, and completely exhausted. Let's look back at why we struggle to say no. We fear judgment. We fear of being misunderstood. We fear of not being liked. In today's social media world, where we're constantly being watched, also by the government, big brother, big sister, we end up being scared to express ourselves and even being vulnerable, because in our consumer society, vulnerability is not a strength. It can be a strength, in fact. It just depends who you put yourself in front of. There's also cultural considerations here. Culturally, Japan, let's take that for example. It doesn't take a lot to be polite. The Japanese culture is all about reframing your emotion and really being kind and subservient to the person in front of you to show respect. In American culture, sometimes it's not the case. We're all up in everybody's faces, and sometimes we speak our mind, which can hurt us eventually. Considering these cultural indications and also the way that our personalities are and the types of habits we formed, we need to really think about politeness here. Before I go into reframing politeness and how to set boundaries, what is the hardest part for you when you say no? Is it the culture you brought up in? Is it the environment at work that doesn't allow you to say no? Is it your internal fears that you're trying to cope with? Really think about what's holding you from saying no and what is encouraging you to be polite despite the exhaustion. Think about it. So reframing politeness and boundaries is a great way to create the middle ground and a win-win situation where you can maintain your mental health and at the same time create those boundaries and be effective. I use statements such as I can't do right now, but I can do it later. I always offer that solution. If you can't do something now, offer to do it later. It's okay if you don't want to do something now at work. Delay the communication and delay the task by saying, I will get back to you when I have the answer. It's a very healthy way of setting a boundary, being polite, and at the same time making sure that you're feeling okay about the task. It gives you time to analyze it and see if you're the right person for this job. Say no directly. Sometimes saying no is being polite. I'm not the best person to do this job. I'm not for this position, but I will refer you to someone who can help you. It's okay to always offer a solution. You're not the smarty pants in the room. You're just the advocate for mental health. You're the advocate for human rights at the end of the day. You're helping the company and the team get ahead. You're also preserving your sanity. So think of yourself as an advocate for human relations by offering options when you say no. Another thing I want to mention here is when politeness is absolutely necessary, no matter what. It's important to be polite in conflict resolution and when discussing sensitive topics. If, for example, colleagues' parents passed away, or someone's loved one passed away, or somebody got demoted, it's absolutely fine to be polite and also encouraged. Don't be an asshole. Even if you're busy, take that moment to just step back and be there for that person, because helping someone goes a long way. Being polite goes a long way. I remember when I was working one time on a project and I was so overwhelmed with the amount of tasks and I wasn't polite. I was giving orders, micromanaging, and then one of my interns said, I'm having a really tough time. I'm actually not feeling okay right now, and this is why I didn't cancel, because I respect your work, but I also am not fully present in this meeting. And I felt this heartwarming moment where I said, wow, this person showed up even though they didn't have to. They could have just flaked. And just the politeness here is taking away your anger, putting aside your needs, and just saying, it's going to be all right. Thank you so much for being considerate and expressing what's going on in your life. And that's being polite. And it's just being kind. Now, I'm discussing all of these points that go hand in hand in communicating in the workforce, and also when you're learning business English. For business English, make sure to check out my playlist where I discuss some of the tips for learning the etiquette and the culture of business English, along with some vocabulary words that will help you out. And I'll have more on that later. With politeness, something that's undervalued and it's extremely valuable, and you can take it to your personal life and your professional life. Saying no isn't rude. It's a form of self-respect. It's a way of preserving your sanity and your resources, mainly time. And in that preservation, you end up being more effective. Imagine if you just said yes to everything. What would the outcomes of that project be? What if you could say no 99% of the times, and the one time you said yes, the one time you showed up, the results were excellent, and people remember you for those excellent results, but they also remember when you screwed up. I actually wrote a book about it called You Screwed Up. I'll post a link in the description. It's on my Amazon page. Think about, when were you polite and it backfired? How did it make you feel? Did you give yourself permission to fail again? Did you give yourself that moment of resolve where you were okay to mess up, or did you never become polite again? Oftentimes with these negative experiences leaves us with a negative charge, and then we don't want to do it again. But everybody's different. You can be polite even if it's backfired. Be more polite, be more kind, do more good, and you'll see what God and the universe will give you in return. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about online communications and when you're communicating via Zoom, and what are some of the best practices, because this actually came up recently with my roommate, and she hasn't been in the workforce for a while, and now that she's communicating over Zoom, she has to keep the camera on, and it gives her a lot of anxiety. So I want to give you some tricks about how to minimize that anxiety when you have to talk to colleagues with the camera on, and I have come up with some hacks, and I think you'd be interested in it. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can see the next video, and as always, do the best that you can every day, and please leave comments so I can discuss some of your favorite topics.